Howdy y'all, I am Ice Gold, and on Tuesday morning, a bridge collapsed in Baltimore. Yep, that's why I'm here making this MCSG video. Basically, what happened was a large cargo ship was having some technical troubles and rammed into one of the foundations of the bridge, causing it to collapse. At least 6 are unfortunately presumed dead, and this was undoubtedly a tragic occurrence. That being said, the response from so many on Twitter and elsewhere was nothing short of alarming. Dozens of conspiracy theories have been floated around by many people and news outlets with large followings related to the incident, and many have tried to blame it on anything other than, quote-unquote, the ship lost power, which is what happened. And some of the conspiracy theories I've seen for why the bridge collapsed include wokeness, Ukraine, foreign aid, the CIA, the Jews in Israel, Hamas and Palestine, Russia, China, Iran, capitalism, communism, vaccines, alright, DEI, immigrants and refugees, black people, white people, COVID lockdowns, Biden, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, cyber attacks, Diddy of all things. This one really stuck out as absurd. Nickelodeon, India, Obama, Islam, terrorism, aliens, the British royal family, Sri Lanka, WEF, the UN, and ritual sacrifices depicted in an old Spanish painting. And I'm reading this like, man, nothing is just a freak accident anymore. People overanalyzing stuff like this is a real issue, and the conspiracy theories you'd expect your crazy uncle to make at Thanksgiving dinner become the type of thing that a minimum of 40% of the population of the United States just believes now. The real details go a little like this from all of the information that I've gathered from a number of sources. Reputable sources, that is, not oddballs on Twitter. Cargo ship was sailing into the harbor in Baltimore when the crew started experiencing some power issues. They realized and told local police that they're having power trouble and can't see anything since, the lights went off and it's the ass crack of night, so the police evacuate the bridge and close it off. Sensible thing to do. The cargo ship loses power another couple times and eventually rams into one of the foundation pillars for the bridge, and the bridge collapses a few seconds later. Pretty clear cut if you ask me, but the number of conspiracy theories being pushed by some of these news outlets and other influencers and Twitter accounts and all that, it's very problematic. One of the more widespread things to come out of that list was the whole DEI thing. And for those unaware, DEI stands for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion. Many states have stuff like this in universities, jobs, etc., while others don't, and that's a whole thing. Like, I woke up this morning and Idaho was banning DEI, probably because of this, but oh well. But the main reason I bring it up is because quote-unquote DEI has become a stand-in for really just a whole manner of racist statements. The mayor of Baltimore addressed the city like, 3 a.m. or whatever, and didn't have the standard full suit on for obvious reasons. I mean, he had just been woken up by the news that like a vital transportation corridor, I guess if you want to call it, just like in the city, has collapsed due to a ship strike. And he didn't have the standard suit, which apparently opened up this whole quote-unquote DEI mayor thing that's being pushed by this account, which is really notorious for just spouting racist nonsense. But anyway, and I could go on for a while about how Twitter, or I guess X in this context, has gotten a hell of a lot more racist, mostly after Elon Musk took over. But this whole thing with DEI being painted as this, terrible, horrible, no good, very bad thing is, as I'm sure you've guessed, racist trying to redefine the term. That's how it goes. There's been a number of racists talking about quote-unquote DEI hires, typical great replacement theory type stuff for a while now, and mostly just trying to discredit non-white people who got hired to any job you can think of. The cashier at, Tom Thumb is Hispanic, definitely it's got to be DEI. It's like the pilot of your airplane is black, has to be DEI, right guys? So naturally, when the black mayor of Baltimore, a primarily black city who won his last election with 70% of the vote, so when he addresses a tragic accident that occurred in his city and it's already been overanalyzed by a large number of whack jobs on Twitter, you're bound to see some pretty inflammatory stuff. It's honestly sad to see that as a nation we still have people acting like this, especially when this tragedy was not caused by anything outside of just a technical error and loss of power and all that. But the best we can do is, like, as a generation, is just to be better than people like this. And hey, maybe it's wishful thinking to hope I don't get doxxed for being against racism. That'd sure be nice. Another thing was that this was somehow because of our quote-unquote horrible infrastructure. And without knowing much about the situation, it's understandable to have this kind of take, because if a boat hit the bridge and it collapsed, then surely our infrastructure must be bad, right? Well, the thing about cargo ships typically is that they're, massive, large, huge, enormous, gigantic, and colossal, among plenty of other synonyms for big. This one in particular was about 1,000 feet long and 150 feet wide, and it had a capacity of 10,000 shipping containers. This is like flipping the tallest building in some major cities on its side and ramming it into the legs of a folding chair. There was no chance in hell that the bridge was going to survive a strike like that. Especially since the bridge was actually about 50 years old. Like, it had absolutely just no chance. New infrastructure is much stronger, but I'm not sure if it would have survived if it had been 5 years old instead of 50. Like, again, think about it, that absolutely gargantuan cargo ship versus the foundations of a bridge. Odds are definitely not stacked in the bridge's favor there. I did see arguments made about having barriers next to the foundations so that something like this wouldn't happen, and I agree, bridges should have something like that in place just in case something like this happens. A lot of newer bridges have these, and but like I said, this one is older, and I'm no engineer, but there may have been circumstances in which these barriers could not have been added to the existing bridge. But, the bottom line is, conspiracy theories in general have gotten a lot more traction as of late, and 9 times out of 10 they're only trying to bait you into believing what they think, so you adopt their destructive ideologies. And remember that now. People say Gen Z is the first to be immune to propaganda, but stuff like this shows that there is plenty of evidence to the contrary. Keep y'all's brains turned on and your eyes peeled, because if it seems too good, bad, or outlandish to be true, it probably is. But that's just my thoughts on the whole thing. Agree, disagree, feel free to leave a comment. We can talk about this because I think it's important to talk about. So, yeah, feel free to leave a comment. I'll talk to y'all. But for now, thank y'all for watching. I've been Ice Gold. Be sure to like, subscribe, and leave like 50 comments for the algorithm. My Discord is down in the description if you want to chat with me some more. And I will see y'all later.